Warning, listening to this show may result in increased levels of inspiration, motivation, and innovation. Side effects can include the immediate urge to take massive action to build a better business and life for yourself and others. You've been warned. Welcome to Influencers Radio with your host, Jack Mize.
And welcome back to another episode of Influencers Radio. I'm going to jump right in today because I have... I even hesitate to use the word branding because, that word gets thrown around and it means so many different things to different people. But the fact is, this guy, if you have seen his work, it is instantly recognizable. It is instantly something different than you see from anyone else. And it's rare that you can identify someone's work. And it really is a testament to the quality and uniqueness of what he does. The guest today is Kenneth Pugmire. And Kenneth Pugmire, he helps, I'm talking about the elite, coaches, consultants, in the fitness industry, in, business, just about, lifestyle, just about any type of, a consulting coach that is helping others and is attracting the highest level of clients. They come to Kenneth Pugmire to build up a brand, if you will, that is going to represent and match the quality and the type of work and the type of clients that they want to attract. And, the facts don't lie. The numbers tell the story. It is absolutely a true success what Kenneth's clients are able to achieve and the type of clients that they're able to attract by working with him. So I want to welcome to the show, Kenneth Pugmire. How are you doing, Kenneth?
Hey, Jack, it's a pleasure to be here. Thanks for having me on.
Oh, no, you bet. And I'm glad to have you because there's so many people out there that even if they don't know it's your work, they've seen your work. And once they go and look at it, they're going to know, oh, he's the guy that does that, right? Because it is so identifiable and it's something that is so striking. I remember the first time I saw your work, it just jumped out. There was something that was unique about it, something that was different about it, something that just had that I just, you can't really put your finger on it, but that you're looking at something special and something that has, that really a purpose behind it. It's not just someone that's, good at Photoshop or good at graphics. There's something really to it. And I want to kind of get into that today and really the advantages that it gives folks that are seeking to work with higher level clients, better quality clients out there for their business. So, let's jump right into that. We'll use the term branding, but it goes much deeper than just graphics and looks and colors. Like I said, it goes in deeper, psychologically. So let's talk about this. When someone is looking to work with you, when you're working at someone, before you even, open up, start doing your sketches or however you start doing it, what is it that you try to find out about that person that you're working with to build something that does turn into that special branding, that special look for them?
I really want to find out what's unique about their personality. I want to find out what people recognize in them. I want to find out kind of how their clients and the people that they communicate with often perceive them, so I can understand what they're already being perceived as. And then I really want to know what their passion is in life. I want to understand who they are on a really intimate level. I want to know what their long-term goals are, a little bit about their history, what their even visual preferences are, what kind of brands that they like. These are things that help me understand their personality so that when I do package them, it's something that's congruent with them.
And that's it, and congruent, but almost an amplified version of that. The way I think about what you're doing is I think about anybody that looks at superheroes or, what is it? The Super Friends, the Justice League, should I be ashamed that I know that stuff? I don't know. But it's almost like you're the guy that's sitting in the back that's putting together, you always wonder, well, who is it that put together their outfits? Who put together their capes? Who put together their brand? Because that's what each superhero really does, has a brand. And oftentimes it is an extension of who they are in the real world. And it seems that one of the things that's consistent about what you do is you take a person that is good at what they do, right? The separation between them and their competitors may not be huge. A lot of folks are in kind of a Me Too industry, but what you do is you take who they are and what they do, and you almost create that superhero persona for them that makes them stand out so dramatically. So, kind of go deeper into how congruent is that tie-in from, what they're doing when you first start working with them to that superhero persona? Is it kind of more like an extension of or growth? Because you don't change people's persona. Really, but you do something that just kind of amplifies that. Would that be an accurate description of you kind of taking them from their Clark Kent to their Superman persona?
It depends on the client. Sometimes we do create kind of an entire persona that's just something that they almost don't fantasize around. Maybe a celebrity or a movie character or something that they see themselves stepping into. And that's one of the key things, is because your brand needs to be something that you can step into, and it's going to embolden you to act and be on a new scale. So it needs to have your true personality. It needs to have who you are ingrained, but it also needs to express kind of that highest version of yourself, the person you really want to be and be recognized as, because that's where you're going to see yourself, which is how you're going to act. And it comes down to their self-image. So, what I'm really doing is I'm taking, who they are, who they want to be, creating an image of that, literally almost like a self-image, if you could think about it, as something that they can, a platform that they can be from. Because, one of the challenges that there's a lot of people who have extraordinary expertise. If you don't, look, no matter how good you are, you have to be able to sell yourself. And if your brand, if your image of yourself is true to who you are and you're your own person, you don't have any competition. So that's what I like to do with people, is really take who they are, but also create the image of kind of what they want to be, because that's where they have their own space in the marketplace. They create their own character. There's nobody else that can take that away. There's nobody else that can compete with that.
So let's talk about the get down to the hard numbers of some of this, because I know when someone looks at your stuff, and when I first looked at it, it really is stunning. And I'm like, that would just be so cool to have that level of branding, to have that level of look. But let's go beyond. Wouldn't that be cool to real numbers and how that affects the bottom line of the folks that you work with when you move them from, what they were to their kind of that new enhanced or, just over, I guess that's what you do, is you just do a complete makeover almost of what they're doing. So let's talk about that. Can you give some examples of how this has worked on not just, the cool factor, but on the bottom line financially of changing their status and the way that they're perceived by prospects and going from, maybe people competing on price to just, I need to work with this person, even if it costs me more?
I've had clients move into doing multiple 6-figure months within a week of working with me. I have, quite a few testimonials at that kind of shift. And I have people that, have a more moderate increase, but the return on investment has been pretty significant. I haven't had a client who didn't come to me and say, I didn't get my money back quickly. And that has to do with the selection process, but really, in numbers, I've had clients do $300,000 in a weekend, from, branding themselves and really, going from somebody who was a generic personality who had all these skills, branding themselves, branding what they do, and offering it. And the shift is pretty instant.
Yeah, it's instant and dramatic. And one thing I don't want to do is imply that, having a changing to this branding is going to instantly just kind of mesmerize people into here, let me give you money. But I guess what it is you take people that are good at what they do. And by doing this branding, does it make it easier psychologically for people to choose them? Does it make it easier psychologically for people to say, you know what, this person has it together, and it makes them feel better about their decision to go forward with something, with a person that has this type of package together versus someone that is, I think you once told me it's kind of similar to in the offline world. If you go to do a business meeting, the difference between looking the part versus, showing up in your flip flops and jeans kind of thing. Right. Cause to kind of talk about how the psychological, impact of that. And I also want to, preface that because we'll go into this because you have a background in graphics and doing work for direct response. So I'm sure some of that kind of seeps in there psychologically, and we'll talk about that in a minute. But what is it? Is it kind of mainly that psychological impact that takes people? It creates that tipping point. It creates that reason for them to feel good about moving forward and going forward with your clients. That makes that dramatic impact in their ability to sell and close after that. Yes,
Coca-Cola sells more Coca-Cola than generic cola, and there's a reason for that. If you go to your local supermarket, they probably have 3 or 4 generic cola brands, and they all taste pretty darn good. In fact, I've had a few of those that are actually better, which is really a funny experience. But Coca-Cola sells a lot more product. And you can look at really any brand who's established themselves, and it's quite simple. It's trust. And when people have a problem, when they're looking for a solution, whether it's a lawyer, consultant, coach, income specialist, advertising specialist, whatever it is, they're looking for the best, because that's the highest probability of getting the outcome they want. And so with the people I work with tend to be already really, really good at what they do. So when you put the package around it, then people go, okay, this is the real deal. And so it's a psychological factor of going, okay, what's going to be the highest probability of success? Am I going to pick the guy in the jeans and t-shirts? Because here's the thing, your social media is like a permanent 24/7 business meeting. It doesn't go away. It doesn't stop. So it's very akin actually to the metaphor you use about kind of the flip-flops and stuff. Because that's how people tend to show up on social media. And even, very specialized, professionals, you'd be surprised at how loosely their profiles kind of establish them. So the psychological factor needs to be really clear that, hey, I'm an expert, I'm an authority, I'm a celebrity in what I do, I'm the best. And then it's a lot easier for them to make that decision, because visual cues, within 1 to 3 seconds, people make a visual determinant factor about a product or service or person, whether or not they categorize you as, someone that they want, that somebody that's ahead of them, somebody that's on their level, or somebody that's below them. And so you really only have 1 to 3 seconds. It's like, boom, people make that decision.
Right. You made an important point there, and the analogy, it made me think about that, because you walk through the grocery store and you see the Dr. Shazam right next to the Dr. Pepper that probably taste identical. And given no other reason, even if it tastes almost the same, more people are going to choose and pay more for the Dr. Pepper just because they feel better about their decision, that they're getting something that's better, that if they serve it, it's not going to look odd, that they're not going to. There's just a whole slew of psychological factors around that, and you're saying that extends all the way up to the way that people are branded in their business.
I'll add this too. Like if you go to the grocery store, and people often talk about like a top shelf whiskey or something like that, but it's not just a liquor store. You go to a supermarket and you look at what's on the top shelf. Like, for example, you look at olive oil. You've got your $27 olive oil and you've got your $12 olive oil. The packaging's different. The positioning's different. Products sometimes similar, sometimes it's better. And, the key is that there's a difference, and people pick the brands that they trust. So there's people out there who are value shoppers who are going to go right to the bottom for the 99 cent, whatever. And then there's the type of client who they want the quality, they want the story, they want the luxury factor, kind of that high touch factor of this is the best. And you'd be surprised that, more and more people are moving that way. The standard of excellence has really been pushed by companies like Apple, who've taken, normal products and made them premium design products, premium position products. So the standard for showing up that way has been elevated extremely fast too. So yeah, you go to the grocery store, you should just look around and look at the different levels and, go from the bottom up. And sometimes it's actually from the top down, depending on the product, but they're all the same product, but there are different qualities and different grades, but you can see based on each level, the packaging and the price point is different. So what we're trying to do is we're trying to put something on that top shelf.
Yeah. And so it makes sense. And it's something that isn't a new philosophy or a new tactic. It's been happening for years and years and years for everything from products to celebrities. And you're kind of doing that and putting that within reach of people that are, in business, coaches, consultants. And, I want to go into how you came to start helping folks with this, because I think that in itself is a testament to how impactful branding is. If somebody's that's thinking about, does it really affect the bottom line? Is it something that I can get an ROI on? And I think the fact that how you came to do this for other people is a perfect example of that. So talk a little bit about how you got to be the Kenneth Pugmire that you are today. And a lot of people think that people get on this purposeful path, but it's something that kind of unfolded for you as you went, and you were actually kind of pulled into it by demand rather than something that, hey, this is something I decided I'm going to do. So how did you get to where you are today in helping folks with this?
So the specialty kind of came, like you said, from demand. I really have just listened to the marketplace over the years and adapted and adjusted to what people need. And I started my first branding business when I was 11 and, building, custom computers. Really cool, actually. These guys would come to me. A lot of times it's just young guys, his parents, had too much money to spend and they wanted to have a status symbol. And so they would come to me and have me build these custom computers, and I would paint them with auto paint, finish them, and they look gorgeous if I had put their name in it, like a logo. And I was always fascinated from a young age at designing products, branding them, spent, all day, every day, just creating different products and branding them. I was crazy, but I'd go, to the supermarket, I'd go to, different tiers of stores, and I'd look at the products and the way they're positioned. And it was fascinating to me from a design perspective, but also, I saw that the sales perspective it had, because it really, you could take 2 skin creams, put one in a beautiful glass jar with a black lid and, made out of a nice, aluminum coated, plastic or something like that, fancy label, and you can sell it for $300. Then you could go to, your local Walgreens and probably get something that's, 80% as good, but it's $25. So, that was something that was always in my mind, always something I wanted to do. As I got older, I started a design company, and I was really working with people on their marketing. I was creating offers. I was very successful. People were really happy with it. I had a lot of fun with it. But what I started doing, I started taking that direct response style design, which is more of a way to amplify the copy, more of a way to amplify the actual wording in the advertising for people to read it and create a certain feeling and ultimately get them to take action to buy or to pick up the phone, do some direct action towards a selling objective in the advertising. I really mastered that. And what I began to do is bring in my branding passion, and I started to brand these offers. So I would take traditional media branding design and mix it with direct response. And what we found was it really sometimes was more than a 2x increase. I mean, it was pretty substantial how it increased the value of the products, even allowed my clients to raise their prices, to create a conglomerate of different offers. And so we were taking people that just had offers and branding them so that they didn't just have, an offer, but they had a business and they had a brand equity that they could offshoot other products from. And they just raised the value and raised it again and again by creating, again, the brand around the product, which is the trust. It's the symbol of we are the solution maker. So as I saw that to work, I decided that I was going to, and this is probably 2008 or 2009, I said, I'm really going to make a conscious effort to brand myself on social media, on Facebook, my website, and really create my own celebrity image to build my business and to get known. And within a week of just beginning to, put great photos out and imagery and branding myself and my logo and doing all these things kind of to create a personality, it literally shifted my consciousness, because I went from kind of being a person who the outer world had control over my reputation, which is 99% of us, to being able to literally create a perception, to be able to control my reputation and instill in the minds of my followers, my clients, my friends, a certain image of myself, and be able to show them I had a skill and expertise that was kind of my own thing. I owned that area. And people started reaching out to me, and literally people, for whatever reason didn't like me, which, I'm lucky I have, about 99% of people I get along with. But, that one person or so that for whatever reason had something against me, I remember a few people actually reached out and started to be friends, and actually a couple of them became clients. And I went, wow, this is powerful. This is more powerful than I am, because this is something, this is far beyond just, my words. This is an image, and people trust images. So I took that far. I branded people. They were getting the same results as I was. And I said, I'm going to keep doing this, but I didn't really think anything of it. But it got to a point, kind of a critical mass, of where most of my business was coming from that. So I just decided to stop focusing on the direct response advertising and completely brand people. And things really blew up. And people, I'm really blessed. Some of the top, internet consultants, marketing, celebrities reached out and had me, do their image. And it was mostly by accident. Because, I was trying to brand myself, and I kind of stumbled upon a recipe that really worked. And so it's kind of been a ride, and I'm still hanging on.
Yeah. And that's why I thought, that was a perfect testament that, you branding yourself for, entirely different reasons or purpose than, what obviously unfolded in front of you, instantly brought demand. What'd you say within a week of you rolling out your own personal brand, people started contacting you, not for your direct response marketing, but how can I get this done? How can I get you to do this for me? And that right there to me is just just a remarkable illustration of how it changes the perception that people have and them wanting to do business with you.
What really surprised me was how many people out there understood the power of kind of being that elite celebrity in their market, in their niche, but didn't know how to do it. And I thought, oh, you know what, this is something that people can do. Maybe not a lot of people are interested. And, I thought I was just kind of lucky to figure it out, but people just came out of the woodwork, and it was a surprise to me.
Yeah, that is. So let me ask you this. I know people listening to this right now are thinking, they're either in two camps. They know who Kenneth Pugmire is, and they've seen your work, and they know what we're talking about. Or right now they're on the edge of their seat. Okay, I want to see, how can I find out how to see what this guy is doing, because it really is remarkable. So how can they find out more? One, see some of your work that you've been doing, and find out more about how they can position themselves this way to be able to get these benefits.
Well, absolutely. If this is something that's interesting to you and you're interested in branding yourself, I actually have a lot of the cool work that I've done and some of the case studies on my site, socialcelebbranding.com. branding.com. That's just the word social, celeb, and branding. So there's two B's there, .com. And you can scroll through there. I've got, some of the branding for social media websites that I've done, some, testimonials and stuff like that from clients of the results they've had. So, you're welcome to reach out there, hit me up. There's a way for you to contact me if you'd like more information. I'd be happy to talk to anybody about that.
Oh, fantastic. Kenneth, I got to say, you really are an influencer with the work that you do, and certainly influence, not just your clients, but also the people that are reaching out and benefiting from the information and the work that they're doing as well. So I want to thank you for coming on to Influencers Radio today. Thanks so much for having me, Jack. All right. You got it. Folks, there you have it. Go check it out. If you have not seen it, you are going to see someone that is really a truly gifted, artist at many levels. Check it out, socialcelebbranding.com. We'll also have the link here on the show post. So check it out, and you really will be stunned, and you'll see the impact that this has. Until next time on Influencers Radio, remember, you are the only real game changer.
You've been listening to Influencers Radio. To get all past shows and updates on future shows, visit influencersradio.com today or follow us on Facebook at facebook.com/influencersradio.